This is Van Electric Ghost, and back in 2016, we did our first shows as Van Electric Ghost at Davis Square Theater in Somerville, Massachusetts, which is outside of Boston, and at Blackthorn 51 in New York City. We presented the Ghost concept in our version 1.0 of our costume, the non-LED. And then we moved up to, you'll see in the video that we have for this this particular episode that's on out there that we put on our Instagram, and we're going to put up on our YouTube, our LED costume that we got from Mind Your World. Now, the song Something Wicked is the title track off of the first Phantom Electric Ghost album. Now, it's now out of print, but we have re-released the title track on SoundCloud, and by Repost By SoundCloud, it's going to be on all streaming services in a couple of weeks. Something Wicked introduced our genre that we call political electronic music, and the title track, Something Wicked, has the line, "Something wicked this way comes, Trump." Now, this is 2016, and we had seen Donald Trump, who had been known as a race baiter, snake oil salesman, and birther. We saw the danger in his rhetoric, which had a tendency to be white nationalist, racist, and xenophobic, and ignorant. We thought he was a danger, but I guess we saw what happened. Something wicked did come. And in the last week, we've seen him go against American military tradition and try to use the military, and did use the military in Washington, D.C. with helicopters doing SWATs of backwash from their rotors on civilians at a height that's not legal from the FAA. We saw him use flashbangs and tear gas, which they tried to say they didn't. They lied. Had the Attorney General acting like some kind of fascist debutante for Trump, running a secret police that had no name tags, but we found out they came from the prison systems in Texas and other southern and western states, and which is very dangerous to have your own private army that is not accountable, has no rules of the road, and basically for a photo op, they violated people's freedom of speech. And we've seen a lot of generals, a lot of really important people in the country in terms of the military structure totally disagree with that behavior. So the whole idea of Something Wicked, we decided is still relevant. Even though we released that song in 2016, we're thinking of re-releasing that whole project and going back and doing a lot of the first Phantom Electric Ghost albums were done on TuneCore. They had physical CDs. We still have a couple of these albums still available. Indigo Menace is still available. It's a political electronic album. Synesthesia Neo Soul Surrender is still available on Amazon.com if you look up Phantom Electric Ghost. And also The Flower That Blooms at Midnight in the Tomb, which is primarily recorded on the Teenage Engineering OPZ, is also available on Amazon.com. It's no longer available on streaming services, but it is available on Amazon. And we're probably going to take a lot of these songs from these albums and re-release them through SoundCloud and our Repost By SoundCloud contracts. Now, we're very excited that we actually are part of Kanga in Space now, which means the Ghost has a professional booker that can book us for online and physical shows. And it's cool. This contract allows us to really be able to do it. They're very supportive in terms of our travel. And we're just, it's kind of a strange thing. They finally get a booking agency when you can't get a show booked. But hopefully we'll be able to do some online shows. And if you're interested in what the Ghost can do, you can check out the booking link and you can book us as an act. And we are a live act. We are a one-person band. We do have a lot of equipment that has to be taken care of in terms of travel. You can contact us separately on our voice memo or through Kanga in Space to figure out how to do that. So in this episode, again, the song Something Wicked, we're going to include a video that actually has clips from our Blackthorn 51 and Davis Square performance You can see the differences between the first Phantom Electric Ghost costume and the second. We're hoping to do a third costume once we get some money. We had an idea to have a cape that actually has a LED system on it that allows us to do video on the cape as we play. And that is something we've wanted to do for a long time. Have a better mask that's more of a Phantom of the Opera mask that doesn't obscure our lips to make it easier for our wireless mic system. So there's a bunch of new ideas we're going to be working on. We're going to be working on having a better camera system for our online shows. And we're working out all kinds of ideas that we do. We do use roll and go mixers and other Roland products to have the ability to. We do have a product that could do a 2-camera show, but we haven't fully utilized it in that regard. We're going to try to use it at some point. We have to buy some more equipment, and because we're on lockdown and we don't have our main job. We're kind of in between jobs right now. So if you're a supporter of the program, please click the PayPal Me link. We're going to be interviewing all kinds of people. We're extending our interviews. We're going to be interviewing a fashion designer. We have interviewed models and actors and photography studios and internet companies. So if you're a company and you want to have a podcast interview, we're going to be interviewing a Black Lives Matter artist that's going to be doing an auction. So we're very up on all kinds of social media. So you can click our Intellifluence link to do that. You can book the Phantom if you want to do that. Or you can talk to us directly and we can point you toward how to do that. So again, like if you send us a voice memo with your Facebook, or Instagram direct message, we can get in touch with you that way. The other songs we have here is a really overt political song called For the Indigenous Peoples of the World, basically indicating that colonization and Western domination had destroyed or committed genocide against Indigenous people. I am part Blackfoot and Cherokee Indian, so I do not speak without knowledge of this. And that's another political electronic song that, you have to really understand the nature of capitalism and Calvinism, which basically thinks Calvinism is a real destructive religious and capitalist concept, and that if you have wealth, then you're closer to God, which means that you could do very destructive things like, commit genocide against Native Americans or indigenous people. And if you gain wealth, then somehow you think you're a pious person, even though you've murdered people. And that is a very destructive concept. And I think all the people who've seen the George Floyd protest have seen people who are valuing property over human life, who want to demonize free speech. And just get it straight, Antifa is a movement. Is not the destructive group of people that they have said that they are. It is a concept that's far more dangerous for the white nationalists out there that have been doing stuff. Now, of course, there are leftists that throw rocks and do things and cause damage. I'm not saying there aren't. But it's hard to pin down and just generalize on any group of people. But I would say there is a difference. If you're in a white nationalist or, neo-Nazi group, it's real clear that you're destructive. If you're in a leftist group that just wants, think your ideology to be heard and you're not violent, then you shouldn't just take the micro group of people who are violent and then label the whole organization as violent. Okay, I would say that for all the violent cops you see, are you going to say every cop is violent, or is it the cop that did the violence violent? The same thing with Antifa. You shouldn't just paint the brush. I think people need to understand that. And the next thing we know is they're going to label Black Lives Matter as a terrorist organization, and people ought to be wary of that type of thing. So we have another song called Too Long Wronged, which is another political electronic song. It's just talking about the nature of African-American our history in terms of we have never gotten our 40 acres and a mule after the Civil War. We never got reparations, and the Japanese got reparations after what they were done in internment. And what's been done to us for 400 years has exceeded that, or is equal to that, or is in the same space as that, but we never got any kind of redress. And so the idea that some people say, well, we shouldn't get the redress. Well, I'm sorry, but like with 400 years of violence against African Americans, free labor that allowed you to build your economic growth, I think at the very minimum, reparations for Black people in the U.S. would be the ability to go to college for free, which would be very productive for the whole society. Because if you could educate the Black population and get us into the 21st century, that would actually have a lot of dividends. It's the same thing as like the GI Bill. It would be it was very positive for society when World War II veterans were allowed to go to college and then build that wealth, and they built the middle class. So if you did that for Black Americans, that would be very powerful, especially since we were denied education for 400 years and we were kept down and put in inferior schools, inferior housing, inferior food. If you give people a chance, you give them the support. And it's not like we're welfare. We did free labor for hundreds of years that people built empires off of. And that's not right. And to act like that we're getting something for nothing is not true. So if you're in that kind of mindset, like read your history and understand if your ancestors did all this free labor that allowed, cotton industry, that allowed garment industry, that allowed the sugar industry to build, and we were in mills, we were in factories, we were even after slavery, we were put into Jim Crow South, which we were still put under servitude, with like more like indentured servants, and did not get advancement or adequate compensation for the work that we did. And so people built empires in terms of mining and steel and farming, manufacturing, factory labor. And so there's a lot of free labor and wealth that was accumulated off the backs of African Americans. And I don't think that reparations is unheard of in that scenario. And if you can see what's been going on today in America, you can see that we have never addressed social justice. So imagine, and I'll tell you, I'm an African American, I'm an IT worker, and I've been discriminated against many times, hit a glass ceiling many times, and it is not equal. And I've had a lot of trouble in this in the industry. And so even white collar jobs and people who you would think would be more, more willing to look at themselves, but they're not. And it's very much a white man's world, and a world that is not very welcoming to people other than kind of a nerdy white male culture that is very fearful of difference or otherness. And it's not good. And they use a lot of labor from overseas, and they're very, dismissive and racist against that labor pool. And they bring them in because they can pay them less money. And it's not about respect. It's about taking advantage. Taking advantage of Indian labor and paying people less money, making them work long hours and not giving them equal pay compared to the white workers. That's not fair either. And so there's a lot of discrimination and people taking advantage of, global, to me, unfairness and, taking advantage of labor pools and using that against people and lowering the wages of American workers against workers in, Vietnam and Europe, Eastern Europe, and China, India, and pitting that against American workers. And then if you're an African-American IT worker, you're getting pitted against somebody in Mumbai or somebody in Vietnam or somebody in the Soviet Union. And that's not fair either, because then your benefits, what I've seen in the last several years is IT workers being made to do jobs and not get health coverage for 60 to 90 days. And you're using intellectual thought and you can't get coverage from your company for 60 to 90 days. You aren't given vacation time. You aren't given sick time. Now you can say, oh, we're getting paid a lot of money, but think about it. That's for somebody who's using their head and they're being told you got to get an education. That doesn't seem right that a union worker, that a police union worker gets better benefits than an IT worker that's in that kind of scenario. And that doesn't seem right. So, there's a lot of inequality in the system all over the place. And so I think people need to react, and going into 2020, you need to look at what's going on. And even if you're not happy with the current Democratic nominee, I think the alternative is very wicked. Trump is not somebody we need to play with. We made a mistake in the last election cycle when we didn't get Hillary Clinton into office. And this time we can't afford to make a mistake. I am a supporter of Joe Biden. And if you're a liberal Democrat, I think we are going to have to come to it that we don't always get everything we want. And maybe Joe's not the perfect candidate, but I think that we have to be smart, and we cannot deal with Donald Trump for another election cycle. He is flirting and actually committing crimes against the United States. He's violating the Constitution. He was impeached. He has attempted to use the U.S. military as his own private police force, his attorney general as his own private lawyer. It will get worse. We will see him define Black Lives Matter as an enemy of the state. He's already identified anybody that doesn't agree with him as potentially terrorist. And I don't think we can afford that with our traditions of liberty and our traditions as a free country to dive into totalitarianism and authoritarianism and autocratic leadership. And again, if you are a Republican, you disagree with me, do not have to listen to me. And so, please, I would say to anybody that doesn't have an open mind and gets upset by this, well, just don't listen to it. But don't be a troll and attack me for my free speech. If you don't like it, just don't listen to it. So this is Van Lecter Ghost signing off. And again, this is a political episode. So if you don't care for that, don't listen to it. Thank you very much. And keep on doing your, all the creators out there, keep on pushing, keep on doing your work. It is very important for all voices to be heard.
For the indigenous peoples on planet Earth, the capitalism is the disease. How can you be a human being, but you can't be here without deed? That's not freedom. That's the Lord thieving. For the indigenous peoples on planet Earth, capitalism is the greed. How can a human being can't be here unless they have a deed? That's not being free. The MAGA is a symptom of the capitalist disease. MAGA is a system of a Calvinistic greed for the indigenous people of the planet Earth. The capitalism, it ain't free for the indigenous people of the planet Earth. And capitalism is just greed. And that's not me. You don't look like me. But the indigenous peoples of planet Earth. And Calvinism is a disease. It tells you to be good. You just have to have a lot of money. Yeah, but indigenous peoples on the planet Earth. And Calvinism is a disease. Then, yeah, if you're good, you got to be one with the green, one with the machine, one against ecology, one who cares about the economy. It doesn't care about color people like you or me. But indigenous peoples of the planet Earth, the Calvinism's just greed. Says you don't got a right to be here unless you have a lot of money. And indigenous peoples of the planet Earth, MAGA is the machine. And you've seen it since Memorial Day 2020. Now, indigenous peoples of the planet Earth, and capitalism's not free. Indigenous peoples of the planet Earth, it's just Calvinistic greed. And then the people in charge, they don't look like me. They look obscene. They don't look like me. They're obscene. And the cops are the defenders of the rich man's dream. The cops are the defenders of the rich man's creed. The cops are the defenders of the rich man's machine. And the cops, they don't look a lot like me. The cops are the defenders of the rich man's dream. They don't look a thing like me. That's the sellout thief. And then they might look like me. What a sellout look like me? A mirror image of a scene. Somebody don't know how to be a human being.
Something wicked this way, guy. Something wicked this way, guy. C-R-U-M-P. C-R-U-M-P. Something wicked this way, guy. Something wicked this way, guy. T-R-U-M-P. T-R-U-M-P. I don't hate all immigrants, I just don't want them here. don't want them here. Can't they just go home? Can't they just go home? Just they do my laundry. Something wicked this way comes. Something wicked this way comes. G-R-U-M-B. G-R-U-M-B. Can't they just go home after they do my laundry? Can't they just go back to Mexico after they pick my vegetables? I just don't want them here. I'm not a racist. I just don't want them here, and this is that clear. I don't fear them, I just want to be near them. I just don't want to be them. I don't want to be near them. I don't want to be with them because maybe I do see them. Is that clear? Can't they just go home after they do my laundry? Let's make America great again.
I like dude. I like food. I like cool you. I look cool. I'll be cool. I'll be a trainer for you. I do dude. I do the dude. I do the cool you. I I'll be nasty, I'll do trash, I'll be tramping you. Ooh. I'll be a tramp, I'll be that dude. Up and nasty, without class, I think trash with you. Up and nasty, without class, I do trash with you. I want flash, I like trash, I'll do it mad with you. I'm a tramp, I do the dance, and yes I'm mad with you. I'll do bad, I'll do nasty, I'll do that trash with you. I'll be a tramp, do what I can. I'll be a tramp for you, you. As a man, do up and down, do all the tramp with you. I do the crap, I see the car crash, and I'll do nail with you. And I'm a man, and yes I am, and I'll do bad with you. Yes I'm tramp, and I'll be tramp, and like a man do. Do it long with dude. Do it you. I'll be a man, take it down, need no class to crash with you. I'll be a tramp, do what I can, do up there with you. I'll let you. Got no class, true. Do it mood. Do it wood blue. Darling, I'll do you. I'll do it fast, I'll do it fast with you. If you're crap, if you're trash, I'll do I'll do what I dude. I'll do it fast, you know class, I'll do that trash with you. I'll do it fast, I'll do it fast, I'll do it bad with you. No, I'm fast, do it now, I'll do it trash with you. No one's been going wrong, but too long you've been wrong. Too long you've been too strong, now we're wrong. See what's going on. Too long we've been wrong. Too long you've been strong. Straight, taking a name into me. Now our sun seems sane. Now as you can see, now us wasn't seem the same. You can't do it to me. You can't take a knee to a black man on the street. You can't take a knee to a black man on the street. What was it seem sane? What was obscene now seen? Can't do that to a black man on the street. Now it's going on, been going on too long. You've been too strong and doing it to me. Now I'm seeing and unseen. Never get to a chicken me. You just can't take the name just like I'm on the street. Floyd, yours, you and me. Everybody knows Floyd George, you and me. And I know that American tradition is me. Cold silence on the street, taking a knee to a black man not unlike me. That's how it be. That's how we see. What's unseen now seen. Can't take with me to black man on the street. He looks a lot like me. Look like you're gonna be. Look like you're gonna be. Look like it's gonna be. Red, white, and blue colors bleed, especially on street. Red, white, and blue colors bleed on street like me. Well, please don't make to a black man on the street. And that was seen. Black man on the street. Please man, taking a knee, it looked like me. Loud seen. Now what's the scene obscene? Taking a knee to a black man on the street. And that red, white, blue color bleed. Now you know who to feed. Now you know what you need. Do it, not free. It's not free. But you know what to do, because it's not free. Defund, please. Defund, please. Take off that knee off me.